Good evening, everyone. It's Josh, SNE Weather here. Before we get into everything, I just wanted to make a brief statement. I apologize about the video the other night. It should have went through. It appears that I may have missed a letter when I posted it, so I do apologize for that. Um, I will make sure that does not happen again. I'll just have to make sure that in front of the computer and just double check, all the letters, crazy letters that they put into these some of these web names. So I do apologize for that, and I will make sure that does not happen again. All right, let's get into it. So first off, got a storm coming, definitely going to be a nor'easter. Just to give you a brief summary to go in before we get into this, it appears that it's going to start off as rain, go over to snow. Um, the only area I don't think is going to get snow is going to be Nantucket and the Outer Cape, like anywhere east of Barnstable, Hyannis. I think the canal, you're very close of getting into the snow for a little bit, and I'm going to show you all that stuff. There was a model was waiting for to come out so I could take a look at it, but it's taken forever. I literally waited 2 hours for this model to finish running, and it hasn't finished running yet. So I'm done waiting for it. So tomorrow I will start showing that model, and that's the HRF model. I just wanted to see how far it went into the storm, so we just to kind of look at that, and then collaborate with all the other models and see what is it showing. Because I mean, listen, the European computer model was showing 20 inches to like 20 to 40 inches of snow up through the Green Mountains, and all those models have pretty much just backed off. And I'm very interested to see what the overnight Euro model is going to show. I almost don't even want to show this model right now because I don't even think it's accurate. I don't even think any of these models have a exact pinpoint on the storm yet because everything keeps moving further east. So, anyways, let me get into it. So here we are with the European computer model, and I'll move it forward. You see low pressure is developing. We got a 994 millibar east of the Delmarva Peninsula, and we move it up. Look, we got snow breaking out northwest Rhode Island, Connecticut. You got Worcester in there. And by the way, just to let you know, if you look over here, where I'm circling, this is the 18Z. This is just came out about 6, 7 o'clock this evening. So, just to move it a little further in time, you can see Providence, Boston, almost all of Connecticut. You're getting some decent snows there. Oh, I should say northwest of Providence. But it doesn't even matter because Providence is in it now, and we got 986 millibar right over Cape Cod. Moving it a little further, and you can see you see why I say the canal's very close. Getting in on it, 983 millibar low pressure. Would not be surprised if it would be similar to blizzard conditions taking place on the East Coast here. Maine for sure. You guys are going to get pummeled. Maine is going to get pummeled by this storm. And you'll see that in the snowfall maps that I'm going to show in a little bit. And by the way, at the end of this video, I am going to show you something about Tuesday. I'm a little bit concerned. Models are not showing anything yet of a possible storm on Tuesday, but I'm going to show you something that I'm seeing that if everything comes together, we could have a similar situation that we have with this storm, where it doesn't show much of anything until 2 days before. All right, so move it forward, and you can see heavy snow getting right into that canal. You can see it's having a hard time getting past the Cape Cod Canal, and it does get past it just a little bit. That's why I said Hyannis. You know, Barnstable, I just don't think you guys. I think you guys might see some flakes, and that's it. However, just remember what I always say about that 540 line. It does get the past there, but I do think it's going to be too warm for it to stick over there because you guys are going to be in the 40s almost all day on Saturday. All right, moving it forward in time, and you can see it lifts up. So here we are. That's the euro. All right, so here we are with the GFS. GFS, we move it forward, and this GFS is a little further out, 984 millibar low pressure. And you know what? This is the strongest that the GFS has showed. This is the strongest. It was 993 to almost 1,000 millibars for the longest time. Even I think this morning it was like that. It didn't start trending towards a stronger system, I think, at the noontime model output. So I'll move it a little forward. You see 981 east of Cape Cod. All right, so first thing I'm going to say, if this is a 981 millibar low pressure, this blue line is going to be number one. This blue line going up through Maine, yeah, you're going to be down here, especially if you got all snow in here. That blue line's going to be a lot closer to this. So I think that's going to be, I just have a hard time believing that this blue line's going to be still through Rhode Island, the 540. I just don't believe that for a second. And you can see it, and then it moves on out, and you see still see some snow in there on late Saturday night into Sunday morning, and then it finally lifts out. All right, next model is one of my favorite models recently because it's been fairly consistent with storm systems, and that's the Nam. And like I said, starts off as rain, and system comes up, and for the most part, the models have been pretty much honed in this little area here. Low pressure moving in, you see snow bands moving in, and we move it further. I mean, not this Nam is also stronger too. And like I said, remember what I said? 540 line. I just don't think it's going to be out there. If you got a 979 low pressure there, I wouldn't be doubt for a second that this 540 line actually reaches almost all the way to the canal. But we'll have to wait for future model runs and see if that ends up happening in the long run, or short run, I should say. And then the storm system starts moving on out, and I mean, this is a pretty potent system for 979 to 978, being in this area. All right, here we are, vorticities. Gotta love these. Now, all right, so let me show you this. This is showing it being closer, right? I think it's too close. I think there is some room for it to be for a little further east and maybe even a little further south. There is actually one meteorologist out in Connecticut that actually thinks it's a possibility that this thing goes out to sea, and the models are just not showing that. He believes that is on the table, and I think that's an interesting scenario. And I actually tend to agree with him. That is a possibility, but I don't think it's going to happen. And that's where we introduced this vorticity map. So here's our storm system moving in, and the video that didn't come up. The GFS was struggling with this, whether this was going to influence this piece of energy here. Well, the arrow was already showing it, and it just stuck to its guns and said this is going to happen. And sure enough, there we go, vorticity max coming right through, and you could see some nice images right there. And you can also see, and I'll just pull it up a little closer if it'll allow me to. No, I didn't think it would. So let me go into regions, and I'll get that map right back up for you. Look at that, right in there. That's bullseye right there. That's you're gonna. I wouldn't be surprised if it's thundering in this area. So move it a little further in time, and you can see it comes right up. It's just wrapping around, and chances are this is probably going to be a really heavy snow band right there. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's a little bit of snow in this little band here. We'll have to see if enough moisture can get in the back there. I haven't looked at the height anomaly, see if that is possible. But looking at this feature here, I say I wouldn't be shocked for a minute if the moisture can just get thrown right back into the system and then wraps it right on around behind it. All right, let's see the GFS. Move it a little further, and I'm going to use the GFS for what I'm about to show you, and why I think it's a possibility that this storm could get pushed out a little further out to the east. You got a system back here, and you got a system right here. This system is diving in, and as it's diving in, it is possible, and you can actually kind of see that. Watch this right here. You can see it right in here. I mean, this is all part of this one system. This is feeding into it. And watch this. and you can see it's starting to react to this. It's pushing it. So I have a theory, and it's not in the models yet, not showing it in the models yet, I should say, that it's possible that this storm gets pushed out just a little further out to the south, further to the south, and maybe even to a little more to the east, just a little bit, a shade, not by much though, because this storm is going to lift up and out, and you can see that happening right there. Maine total crush job. I like the numbers for Maine are going to be really intense and insane. And then you can see the storm, starts exiting out. All right, so here we are, 925 millibar level of the atmosphere, looking for the cold air. And you can see the cold air, this is the NOM, and the cold air starts coming in. And most of the models have been pretty consistent about this on the timing of the changeover. And this is the latest NOM 3KM that came out, and this is about, hmm, I say this is about noon, right around noon time, like noon, 1 o'clock. Seeing some. It's possible we start seeing changeover right there in these gray areas here, like northern Rhode Island, just right in the Boston area, and you move it even further down. Excuse me, you could see you know, these -1 Celsius temps at this level. So there, the changeover is definitely there. Now, whether that precipitation holds right there, just to take a look at the same time, the Outer Cape at 925 millibars, this is saying you have a shot at seeing some flakes. Definitely. I could definitely see you guys possibly getting some flakes. I just think at the surface it's just going to be too warm. And just to show you what I mean, look, 40 degrees, but just above your heads, it's going to be like, 25 to 30 degrees. So there is going to definitely be a changeover, and most of the area is going to be fairly warm as well, above freezing. And just to give you an idea, and I'll back it up a little bit, you see 33, 33, 34. You don't really see anything around 32 in the area. So whatever does stick is probably going to melt a little bit anyways. So we'll have to watch that, see if that ends up happening. There's just not a lot of cold air to keep the snow around. Here's the euro. Pretty much same thing. Right around like 12, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock the latest for the changeover to start coming and just, ushers in. All right, and let's go to the next map. And here we are. The NOM 3KM is showing at least 4 to 8 inches, in some areas getting close to 10 inches of snowfall. And this is the latest NOM. This is not set in stone. This can change. And just to give you an idea, actually, I can't show you with the NOM. I would have to show you with the euro, but um, let's go to the euro. I mean, look at the euro. It's bullseye right up in here, right? Let's look at this morning's run at 3 a.m. Look where it was. Look at the jump it made in less than 24 hours. Look, look, like 12 to 24 inches, some places 20 to 30 inches, and especially out here. And now the latest run. Look how much further east it came. And I can even go further. Look, it's come so much further east. So we're gonna keep an eye on this. I'm gonna be on it tomorrow. Here's the GFS, same thing. Let's get it up. Go to 18Z. GFS is a little further back, actually. It's further back, but the GFS is late to the party anyways, so I kind of voted off the island for now. All right, and NOM 3KM again. I've already showed this. All right, so there's definitely, excuse me, there's definitely a solid chance for a decent snowfall in the area. I know most of the weather guys that I've seen on TV tonight were showing coating to an inch for some of these areas that could be getting a lot more. I think that what's going to happen is I think they're going to adjust. conservatively, to, the model outputs over the last few hours. And I think tomorrow morning you will see that all the local guys starting to go, okay, wouldn't be surprised if you even saw winter storm watches start going out for all these areas. But hey, listen, we gotta wait for it. We still got a whole nother day of model runs, and we'll eventually see what happens with this. My thinking right now is that I think everybody is going to see flakes fly. How much snow? I mean, I have my gut feeling, but I can't even say that yet because that's just my gut. It's not science. My gut's not scientific. You know what I mean? So, all right, let's get into what I saw for Tuesday. Just let me get adjusted here. All right, Continental. All right, here we are. I'm going to use the European computer model for this. So here's our storm for this weekend. Well, that storm eventually exits out. But look, you got a system out here. You got a system here. When I see these two systems this close together, I'm like, holy smokes. And you even got another system diving in from here. Once this system exits, cold air is gonna come in. So whatever does come out from over here, like out over in the western parts of even the Midwest, it's gonna dive down. It's gonna dive down like this. Is that gonna be enough for two storms to come together off the Carolina coastline and try to make a beeline up? Because I'm gonna tell you right now, whatever if something does develop out in the North Carolina, it's not going to come this way. It's not going to go like this up through New York. It's not going to come directly over southern New England. It would be, for the most part, um, off our coast. How far remains to be seen. Um, 40, 70s right there. I wouldn't be shocked if it got very close to that. Now, I'm going to move it a little further in time. And look, you're starting to see that merge that I was just talking about. And look, you got a whole new piece of energy developing out there in the Gulf of Mexico. So this thing is trying to gather some Gulf of Mexico moisture, and you can see a nice little stream coming right into it, coming right out of the Pacific. You can also see the same right here, and you can see that this system here is trying to get in on this too, because you can see it as it's coming right from here. All right, I'm going to move it a little further in time. Look at this. One, two, three, four. Watch them all come together. How does a storm not form? Number one, one way it may not form is that this is just too far to the east. Like usually you want to see this getting here, but you got this here that's out in front of it. So it's possible. Now, can this join together with this system and then it just energizes? It's a possibility. Move it a little further. And look, you can actually see it's trying to do that. But what happened? But you still got this system here. Move it a little further. I mean, it is close. This is very close. And you can see whatever's here is being fed into this system. And then you got a whole nother thing coming here. You got another system coming in over here. You got another one. There's so many pieces of energy that I don't think the model it knows what to do with it all. And move it a little further. And as you can see, over here, and let me see if I can. I'm going to put up to the North American map. And as you can see, right here, a system does form. Now, whether or not everything comes together to phase remains to be seen. And to move it a little further in time, you could see all those pieces of energy. See, remember what I said, cold air? When you get on the backside of the storm, everything gets dug to the south. Watch these two right here, and you can see that actually does happen. I just think that I just think it's really hard for me to believe that this these two aren't going to get together. And if they If they don't, it's going to be because this is holding this one back. But even though this is here, and if you look at it, it does, these two systems, these two pieces of energy do merge together. And I just don't think this model has it. I just don't think it does. Wow, like this is the GFS. This is actually the most recent GFS. So you guys are getting oh man, the latest GFS actually is doing it. It wasn't originally. That's gonna be interesting. That is very interesting. All right, so we're gonna have to keep an eye on that. But that's it for tonight. The GFS newest GFS is still running, and it only goes up to 96 hours. And I'm seeing that in everything that I was just saying. This is actually starting to show it. We'll have to keep an eye on this. This is Josh, SNE Weather. Have a great night. I will have another update tomorrow night on this storm, on the storm for this weekend, and I'll give you a brief update at the end of that video about Tuesday of next week.